whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. All right, what's up, family? I hope everybody's doing good, doing safe. You're safe today, ladies and gentlemen. You saw what our live stream was going to be about today. Welcome again to, if you're watching on Twitter and on my backup channel, Gavin Richard. I thank you all for tuning in. This is the hottest live stream on YouTube. It is Random Topic Tuesdays, ladies and gentlemen. But oddly enough, we only have maybe about two well, all of the topics we're discussing tonight basically involved is under the same umbrella. I'm not gonna keep beating the dead horse. I think everybody knows what's happened in the last 24 hours. Some of you who follow sports, or if you don't follow sports, you follow the news. This has been the number one story on every news channel, every network, and even on Twitter. This has been trending since Monday night. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin, who's been fighting for his life after suffering cardiac arrest on at the at the football game last night. Play was suspended when Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin was making, I believe, his first start as he was filling in for another safety, made a tackle on a wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. And apparently, after making the tackle, number 8 on during the tackle, from what I saw, it looked like it was the helmet went to his chest area, and Harlan got up after the tackle, but then sadly and immediately he collapsed after getting up. Now, when I look at that, and I'm sure some of you may have seen this video footage earlier, it appeared that I thought maybe, I didn't think it was a spinal cord injury because now I'm not a physician, but it looked like he got up, and obviously if it was his spinal cord, he wouldn't have been able to even get up after making a tackle like that. And when you look at the tackle in and of itself, it seemed like nothing. Now, I'm not on the field. I don't know. Of course, I'm not a NFL athlete, but even the announcers on ESPN looking at it said Ryan Clark was talking. It seemed like it was nothing. But what likely happened is that he uh, probably, and he may have had some undiagnosed medical condition. He may have had a heart problem we don't know about that went undiagnosed. That could have been, but I thought my initial reactions got the wind knocked out of him, but the helmet hit his sternum. And suddenly, according to what the Buffalo Bills have released in a statement, they are stating that he went into cardiac arrest. The difference between cardiac arrest and a heart attack, as you may know, is that cardiac arrest occurs when the heart just stops beating versus when there's a heart attack, the heart loses blood flow due to a blockage in one of the arteries. That's what causes the myocardial infarction. And the Bills have stated that he suffered cardiac arrest. Now, if you watch this, and I'm trying not to play if I can avoid so the video. I didn't really want to play it, but I do want to show you something from the NFL game, Buffalo Bills versus what happened subsequently, and what we show of unity is how the Buffalo Bills players and the Cincinnati Bengals were standing on the sidelines as he's standing there and gathered around the brother as paramedics tried to save his life. Apparently, his heart stopped beating on the field. The Buffalo Bills confirmed that they were able to get CPR onto give CPR to Damar Hamlin, and I misspelled his name. Holland is Hamlin, excuse me. And subsequently, they were able to restart his heartbeat, but the players were not thinking of playing this game. And the game delay went on for at least, this happened at 5:58 with the game left. It took almost an hour for them to finally call the game and suspend.
Monday Night Football in Cincinnati postponed as a player on the Bills collapses after making a tackle. Teammates shaken as Damar Hamlin is now in critical condition, according to the NFL. Both teams taking a knee, gathered in prayer. Announcers from ESPN reporting Hamlin was administered CPR on the field, and the league finally calling this game about an hour later. Now, during that time, players like J.J. Watt pleading to postpone it. J.J. tweeting this: the game is not important. Former Texan Justin Reed, now with Kansas City, defensive back like Damar Hamlin, posting this: please, please, please be okay. And the Texans offering their thoughts and prayers tonight to both Damar Hamlin, who's from Pennsylvania, and the entire Buffalo Bills organization.
Damar Hamlin is from Pittsburgh, and he actually played college at the University of Pittsburgh, wanting to stay close to his family. Now, his mother was at the game, and his mother actually had to go down the field in order to be there with her son. Now, I'm going to play a couple of clips. I think this one from MSNBC.
So, CPR administered to him for more than 9 minutes right there on the field. Just a stunning spectacle as the two teams kneeled, praying, hoping for the best. Some players, Josh Allen, the star quarterback, just openly weeping on the field, knowing that this was something different than they'd seen before ever. And the only thing I can compare it to, Joe, is Hank Gathers back in 1990. You'll remember that.
Yeah.
College basketball star who suffered cardiac arrest on the court and collapsed there. Big star in college basketball at the time, 32 years ago. But nothing like this that I can remember. We're going to talk to Peter King in a second here on a football field.
Okay. Well, let's bring him in, NBC Sports columnist Peter King. Peter, looking at the hit, when I first saw the news, I thought, oh, it's going to be another one of these horrific shots that we see every one. A Darryl Stingley type shot. The hit was the kind of hit that we see 100 times every weekend in the NFL. So there was nothing particularly different about that tackle that he made. What can you tell us about the cause? What people are speculating as to the cause, doctors?
Well, Joe, a lot of people last night and into the early morning hours today are basically understand exactly what happened. When someone's heart stops, it needs to be addressed immediately by medical professionals. At every NFL game on the sidelines, there are a total of about 25 medical professionals, both emergency medical professionals and, orthopedic specialists and others. But there is a score of people at every game who understand when a heart stops exactly what they have to do. And that last night meant that that Damar Hamlin got exceedingly good help, and he got it very, very quickly.
Now I want to point something out. They mentioned a guy by the name of Hank Gathers. Hank Gathers was a basketball player, and he was playing in. They actually made an E60 on him, and they actually what he was referring to was this scene here when he was playing, I believe, and this was a tournament game, I believe. They were playing against the Portland Pilots. And right there, in a few seconds, Hank Gathers collapsed, had difficulty breathing, you can tell by his movement. And he just suddenly collapsed without nothing. Now, I never saw this footage. And I think the reason why this happened also was that Hank, from reading what I'm seeing on Wikipedia, he had an abnormal heartbeat and was prescribed a beta blocker in Darrell. However, Gathers felt that the medication adversely affected his play and his dosage was cut back gradually. Originally prescribed at 240 milligrams per day, his Darrell dosage was cut to 40 milligrams per day over the next 3 months. Now, he struggled with his play for weeks after returning, but when he came back in on February 3rd, 1990, he scored over 48 points along 13 rebounds while being guarded by Shaq and Stanley Roberts, who were future NBA first round picks. And subsequently on March 4th, what you saw, which was against the Portland Pilots, he collapsed on the court. And sadly, they were unable to revive him when he was pronounced dead at the nearby hospital. An autopsy found that he suffered from a heart muscle disorder, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. He was 23 years old, just like Mr. Harlan. Now, this was a rare condition I don't think anybody could have seen, but nobody, I don't think, would have wanted to play this game. And after seeing something like this. So the game was called. They suspended it indefinitely. But according to the reports, it was the NFL players, and the coaches, not the NFL organization in and of itself, that decided the game should be suspended. The Bengals players, it was the Bengals and Bills players who didn't want to continue. They went back to their locker rooms. This is coming from Total Sports. The NFL didn't make the decision to postpone the game. The decision to postpone the game was made by the players. They said that this young man's life was worth more than a football game. They didn't care, and who would want to after something like watching something like that? The announcers didn't even want to call a game. David Schuster reported that the NFL did not make the decision to suspend the game. Rather, the players, captains, and coaches from both teams who had witnessed Bill's safety, Damar Hamlin getting CPR for 8 minutes, said they would not continue. And when you see the video, Joe Mixon from the Bengals was the one who immediately called the attention to the umpire here. And when the umpire saw him collapse, the umpire actually raised his stopped play. Now it didn't look like a severe collision when Damar tackled number 85. I think that's Jamal Wiggins. I could be mispronounced. T. Higgins, excuse me. That was Higgins. And they suspended the game. But had the players not acted, no doubt they were going to continue this game. The NFL would have continued this. And yes, something like this has never happened before. So they probably didn't they didn't know how to handle it. But it didn't happen. Now, subsequent to this, while this is going on, everyone's tweeting out their prayers. Bayless, he decided to throw in his 2 words. Now, I'm going to show the tweets because he didn't recant what he said. But Skip Bayless, who is known to take shots at athletes, players, I remember he called Chris Bosh Spice, Russell Westbrook West Brick. He takes pot shots. Remember when Chris Rose put his place? He was tweeting last night, and I'm going to show the tweets in their entirety to give you an idea what was going on. And he stated the following. He said, not sure exactly. So this is when the injury occurred. Not exactly sure what happened to Damar Hamlin. Players on both teams are shaken. Ambulance cut out on the field. CPR administered. Can't remember play being stopped for this length of time. Just said a prayer for him and his family. I've seen so many horrific injuries. Now here's the next one. Suffered on football fields, yet never have I seen a reaction like this. In every other situation I witnessed or covered, the game always went on fairly quickly. The attitude was, hey, that's football. For these players, this was different, in all caps. Now, so he says that he knows that CPR has been administered, that the ambulance is out on the field. But let's look at this next tweet. No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. And as you can see, many people, including myself, thought that this was in poor taste. I thought Skip Bayless, I call him a sick son of a bitch. I'm not gonna lie, I said that. I said Charles Barkley was right. The only time I agree with Charles Barkley, because Charles Barkley doesn't like Skip Bayless. Charles Barkley has called Skip Bayless an a-hole multiple times. And I looked at this, and some people that are defending, he has his defenders. And there are people, obviously, who criticized him for this. There's some people who support him saying, oh, I understand what he was saying. Y'all taking it forward. You're reading it in. Now, if we're taking it too far, Skip Bayless, then why did he, the next thing, you got to ask a couple of questions. He responded an hour later saying nothing is more important than that young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I prayed for him and will continue to. But you look at that compared to this. Now, he obviously has 148 million people that viewed this tweet versus 19 million who viewed this. And then he tried to come back and said, please join me on Undisputed. Now, Des Bryant called him out. A bunch of people called him out. Now, he was not alone. Another individual made an even further stupid remark trying to defend him. Eric Shun wrote, it's too big of a game and people have too much money on the line. Gotta play on. Eric Shun wrote this and tried to delete it so he didn't get harassed. These niggas, now he tried to cover what he said, but it was too late. It was too late. And of course, it wasn't him. There were a couple other people I'm reading here. Leonardo Pagnotti Jr., who's with ESPN. There's somebody else who has his Twitter handle. So somebody put this up. It says, I am not Eric Shun or affiliated with any of that besides having the eShun ESPN handle. Now, I don't know who this is, but I think he deleted his Twitter after he said that. And people are saying it was misunderstood. But the bottom line is, and he responded, and I'm going to play the video of him responding. Skip Bayless responded to the criticism. He went on First Take. And I'm sorry, not First Take. He went on Undisputed, as if you can tell the difference.
Jen, allow me to say
Now,
up front.
Let me do this. I don't want to play the actual video. Let me stop. Whoa. Let me stop. It's fair use, by the way. I don't want to play I'm going to play the video. But what I'm not going to show the video because what will happen, I get the little copyright strikes.
We're going to
So I'm going to play the audio and I hope
try to
hear it.
do the show pretty much as we usually do. But I'll admit up front, I'm still shook up by what happened last night to Damar Hamlin. I'm still wrecked. In fact, I'm not sure I'm capable of doing this show today. But after barely sleeping on it, I decided to give it a try. Maybe I'll fail. Maybe we will fail, but we're going to try. We wrestled through much of the night whether to even do a show today because it felt like in our minds, we almost can't win with this because the last thing we want to try to do is come off as insensitive to what this young man is going through in a life or death situation. The last thing we want to do is offend anyone by trying to do what we always do, which is talk about sports. As this show goes on, we're going to try to talk about a little bit of sports, but we're going to continue to talk about what happened to this young man last night and try to sort back through it with help from you in the audience. And we ask you now, if you'd like to tweet us your emotions of the night and of this morning about what happened to Damar Hamlin, please do so. You can tweet us at @Undisputed, and I will be sharing some of your tweets and your emotions as we share our experience of last night through this very difficult morning for all of us. Obviously, my partner Shannon Sharpe is not here today. I look forward to seeing him tomorrow.
Now you heard that Shannon did not come. And Shannon Sharpe refused to come. No one is no. It was not reported why officially from ESPN from Fox Sports why Shannon Sharpe was obviously not there. They did the show without him, but it's speculated by many that the reason why Shannon Sharpe skipped the show was because of skips over that tweet. Everyone from Darrelle Revis to Des Bryant to Sauce Gardner called him out. But if I can go back, because right now Hamlin is still in the intensive care unit over in Cincinnati. But Shannon obviously was not happy. I don't believe was happy about what he had to say. Now, people who are saying, well, people, you're taking this too far. Yeah, if you skip. Shannon should have been, the people are taking this too far. I have to ask how. Do you think if Tom Brady, I want to just pose this question to you now. I want you to think. Do you think if Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or who's another one, even any of the Dallas Cowboys, since he's a big Cowgirls fan, do you honestly think he would have fastened the tweet to even say that he thinks that the game? Well, he said, "How can they not play this?" And and I want to play the video if I can find it. I actually have it, but I'm gonna play the video where he tried to explain what he was thinking. He said he was thinking about his thinking was about the NFL owners, how they think from a corporate perspective. So I'm gonna play that. But even with that, I have issues, a hard time. I understand what he's trying to say, but it was inappropriate for him to say this. Now, y'all listen to this. Y'all can't hear, so
Misinterpreted. I don't follow what's happening on Twitter. I just tweet. But my boss here at Fox called and said, hey, people are really reacting strongly to your tweet. Maybe you should clarify, which I immediately did. But my first tweet was simply, as a journalist, I was putting myself heads of the NFL.
Okay. And look, he's saying, I was trying to put myself in the.
So he's saying he was trying to put himself in the position of the owners in the NFL when he made that tweet. But here's the problem with that. Why, first, after you, first, let's go back. His first initial tweet that, well, he stated out of his own mouth he had never seen an injury of that magnitude. No one has ever seen anything like that. A man that just collapsed on the court, on the football field. Do you think it would be appropriate if you found out that your mother died? Let's say your mom, your best friend's mother's died. You're out at, or is in the hospital. You're at a restaurant. Y'all all eating together. And then all of a sudden you get news that your aunt died. Your mom died. Your best friend's mom died. And then you say, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And then when the waitress comes around, you say, hey, can I get dessert? Now, some people tried to, of course, some people tried to defend him. And the black athletes, the athletes that were there, at least I would say to their credit, they stood up and said that they weren't going to play. But Shannon Sharpe did not appear for this Undisputed. He was there Monday. He was there after he came after Skip disrespected him on television a few weeks ago. So he came back on Monday, but he wasn't there today. Obviously, what I presume, because I don't know for a fact, but I can only assume it had to have been the result of Skip Bayless's tweet. Now, many people are saying Skip needs to be fired. He was insensitive for this. I'm not a fan of cancel culture, and you all know that. I'm not a big fan of cancel culture. I'm not a fan, even if I disagree with something, I don't support getting rid of someone because they say something I don't like. But that does not mean I have to support them either. I do not have to watch Undisputed again. Now, some good news with our brother. He is at UC Medical Center out in Cincinnati, according to this tweet from the Buffalo Bills. He is still in critical condition, so he's alive. His family has released a statement thanking everyone for their thoughts, their prayers during this time, just the outpouring. And one of the things that has come about is that with his charity foundation, I believe they have raised over $5 million in just 24 hours. People were touched by this story, by what happened to him. And people have reached out to his charity that has raised this amount of money that quickly. It surpassed, I saw it was 5 million. But his foundation is chasing M's. The Pittsburgh native and former Pitt standout started the foundation after the 2020 college football season ended and immediately launched his first toy drive, creating a GoFundMe for donations. And that page is still active.
What's up? It's Damar Hamlin, back at the hometown, back at the crib, third annual toy drive, man. We're doing it for the kids, having a good time, man. So let's get back to it.
So, what caused this injury? I was watching some doctors. I was watching, and I don't normally watch the talk, but they had a cardiologist who was discussing what could have triggered what we saw with Damar Hamlin. What was it? And I do have one from a doctor who actually, one video from a doctor who explains what happened.
Garg on with us today to help us break this injury down. Sports medicine. It's believed he received 9 minutes of on this play tonight on Monday Night Football. It's believed he received 9 minutes of CPR.
It's only at this regular football tackle. We don't really see very much coming on the left, and you're going to see here as we come through the play, the direct trauma right there, right shoulder to the chest of Damar Hamlin, and you'll see really sort of a rather innocuous play, a regular football tackle. We don't really see very much coming through here. So if you're looking right through here, at this point, nothing. Everything looks like a regular football play. It's only at this point does he go down and just collapse straight down. So if we rewind this a little bit here, you'll see he makes the tackle, and then he's able to get up with his own power, and then it's only after a second here that he collapses. So what happened? Well, that's direct trauma, also known as comedo cordis, resulting in a cardiac contusion that puts you in cardiac shock, sending you into ventricular fibrillation, otherwise known as VFib. And this is an electric pulse that doesn't allow the heart to fully contract, and this is what ends up nutrients and oxygen can't get to where it needs to go, resulting in a collapse, and this is what happens. So this is where the medical staff needs to implement CPR and an AED at the time to basically revive him from this fatal arrhythmia or electrical beat, which is what this is. So
in order for commotio cordis to happen, you have to suffer this blunt chest trauma at exactly the right moment, which is really within milliseconds of a time window. This is a rhythm strip that shows one cycle of the heart squeezing, and you have about 72 of these a minute on average. So you have the P waves where the atriums contract. You have
My apologies though for the video being shown, but of course this is for educational purposes. Having a doctor, because I'm not a physician, speak on what supposedly happened. Look, Double O. Let's not bring that in here. We're not gonna talk. We're not talking about the back. We're not talking about the jab on my chat. No, 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 no. Let's not do that. We don't know what that was. He could have had a heart condition we don't know about. But I'm trying not to get my channel suspended for promoting any medical misinformation. I've been through this already with this jab and with that in the chat right now. Unless you know for sure what happened here, we don't. We're all speculating, which is why we have physicians and a cardiologist put this window up so everybody can listen.
This QRS
Please don't
complex
bring
that is where your ventricles contract, and then subsequently you have this T wave, which is We call it ventricular repolarization. That's when the ventricles are resetting. The player would have to have chest trauma at this specific moment to be sent into arrhythmia.
A couple of other scenarios that could be, you're wondering about a C2, C3, C4 injury or contusion. We're taught that in medical school. C2, 3, 4 keeps the diaphragm
No, no, that's
alive.
for a fact. This shit is rare. That's why they say it was very rare to see something like that happen. They have a bunch of players with, by your same logic, they have a bunch of players who've also taken that vaccine, still taking tackles and stuff. Do you see them fall and collapse like he did? I mean, whether you believe in the mandate or not, and I don't, but I'm not going to do that. I've had uncles. I had an uncle who was perfectly fit, who had perfectly massive heart attack, and was actually dead for like 10, 15 minutes. They were able to revive him. They had to put a pacemaker in his heart. He's still alive. He's actually outlived the allotted time that the doctor stated he was supposed to expire. So we don't know. It's everything we don't know. No, it's not normal, but rare things have happened. Just wait until the facts come out. Let's wait and see what happens. What the doctors actually say happened. They say cardiac arrest. Well, was it caused from this, that? What caused it? He could have, because I'm believe, and like I said before, this was his first starting game. Game he was starting. He was starting for an injured player, and he may have had an undiagnosed heart condition. Those things take place. Another topic we're talking about next, I wanted to get into. You had a former Jacksonville Jaguar player, Uche Nwaneri, who died at the age of 38. So you have a lot of young people. Sadly, I will say this: while it is possible, I have noticed a number of, and then of young people passing away from heart trouble. People getting sick from heart trouble at a young age. There are people, of course, we know Gangsta Boo from 3 6 Mafia. She died over the New Year holiday in an apparent drug overdose. That's something that, of course, and that's what's reported. That is something, of course, that is outside that can possibly be controlled, but not a heart condition. You have to be extremely careful. But this Jaguar player, who was 38 years old, was found dead by his wife as he was driving from Georgia to Indiana to see her, and found him unresponsive in a bedroom at around 1 a.m. after she called 911. After which she called 911 when she found him collapsed. The Tippecanoe County coroner, Carrie Costello, told the publication that preliminary results from an autopsy indicated no foul play was involved and that he may have actually suffered from a heart attack instead, pending toxicology results. So as I read here, says that they say Jordan Way, who was his former agent, said Uche was a great person. He was a very interesting person, had a deep value and informative thoughts on sports, politics, and life. Nwaneri's parents immigrated. No, Nwaneri's parents immigrated in 1973 to the United States from Nigeria, and in 1984 he was born in Dallas, Texas. His name, Uche Chukwu, means God's wish in their native language. He committed to playing on a football team for Purdue in West Lafayette, Indiana, per the Lafayette Journal and Courier. He was drafted in 2007 and played 104 games with 92 starts with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was released from the team and signed briefly with his hometown team, the Dallas Cowboys, and in 2014 before he was released during the final roster cuts that year. He had a YouTube channel called The Observant Lineman where he and other former players would analyze recent football games. His last show where he broke down the Philadelphia Eagles play was uploaded just 2 weeks ago. Tony Khan, who is, I believe, the chief football strategy officer for the Jacksonville Jaguars and is the son of the owner of the team, Shahid Khan, made the following. He said, "Rest in peace, Uche Nwaneri." Says he played 7 seasons with the Jaguars from 2007 to 2013 and forged a strong bond with the Jags fans that remain to this day. On behalf of the Jaguars organization and my family, our thoughts are with Uche's family and friends at this terrible time. It's a terrible loss. This was a young brother. This was a young man who had still had his life ahead of him. Again, and they're saying he had heart disease. What is causing this? Are we eating healthy? Do we have, I mean, did he have a heart condition? Maybe. But certainly being a lineman, he was a lineman, so those offensive linemen are pretty big. They protect the quarterback, so they get big linemen, some who weigh at least on average about 325 pounds or more. They may be 6'2", 6'3", and they're obviously their body fat may not be, their size may not be conforming with their height, and so forth. Too big for their size. Those things I've heard of that. The obesity index that they use. You know how the BMI, body mass, that factors in. You know, also Jeremy Renner, who's the actor I was just reading, he was put in critical condition from a snowplowing accident as well. So we're already in the new year. So he was put in critical condition. I think from what I read, he had to be airlifted to the hospital. And this is his photo. Damn. Y'all see this? This is his first photo since the accident. This is Hawkeye from Marvel. Y'all see? Look at this. He was removing snow from his driveway on Sunday so his family members could depart his residence after they celebrated the holidays together. And he had to go into surgery. But he injured himself during an attempt to get back on his snowcat. So did he fall hard on the snowman? What happened? I don't know. So he had to be transported to the nearest hospital where he had blunt chest trauma and orthopedic injuries. They said Jeremy's family would like to express their gratitude to the incredible doctors and nurses looking after him, Truckee Meadows Fire and Rescue, the Washoe County Sheriff, Reno City Mayor Hillary Sheev, and the Carano and Murdoch families. A statement from a spokesperson read. They are tremendously overwhelmed and appreciative of the outpouring of love and support from his fans. Renner, of course, stars in the Paramount Plus series Mayor of Kingstown and is best known for his role as Hawkeye in several Marvel Cinematic Universe films. Okay, maybe he wasn't airlifted. They don't indicate it there. So the incident occurred in Reno, Nevada, near the Mount Rose Highway area. Okay. Yeah, I don't tinfoil hat on. Nerd says it's not heart disease, it's cancer. Well, if not heart disease, it's cancer. Well, we don't know the autopsy reports on this, on the Jaguar player Nwaneri yet. I believe that everything is preliminary, but from what I've gathered, they say it was heart disease. It is real. And, one of the things that I started to do, especially as I'm overweight, I started to exercise much more. Uh, I eat healthier fruits and vegetables. I eat blackberries. I eat raspberries. I'm eating blueberries to get protein in my diet. I walk around my block every day, or I go to the gym. If I'm not able to go to the gym, I walk. I stay active. I bowl. I box. That's actually a healthy thing. You do all of those things basically to better yourself, especially especially if you're suffering from some type of ailments and conditions. You want to better yourself. You want to stay healthy. But all of these people like Gangsta Boo from 3-6 Mafia who passed away. Uh, all of this stuff. We're in the new year and we're already starting off bad. I mean, death is a part of life. Don't get me wrong. We know that. But nevertheless, when you hear of someone's passing, when you hear of a young person, especially a young person who still has their life ahead of them, it's sad to see that. It's hard to accept that in many ways because that person is young and they have their life ahead of them. But their life ahead of them. But the flip side of that tells you, or should remind everybody, that we are not promised to be here forever. That's taken for granted. So You should live your life to the fullest. You should live your life to the fullest with God, for God, and the fullness with your family. You need to get out and do more. Enjoy life, man. Don't let nobody tell you you can't go on vacation, you can't do this and do that, because you know what? You keep delaying everything, you may not ever get a chance to do that anymore. If you want to go out and have a million, you want to go out and buy you a new car, buy one if you got it. You wanted the big house and you couldn't afford it? Yeah, go ahead and buy one. Stop trying to keep people from enjoying themselves. Life is real short. It's so short. And I've seen a lot of these rappers, like this sister died from a drug overdose. I remember when uh Pimp C, when he died from a drug overdose, when he was drinking Dimacap. Yo, I mean, this shit that can be avoided. Please. If y'all can avoid doing stuff, do so. Don't do drug. I had to stay away from some people. My parents always told me, if I saw somebody doing drugs and so forth, I stayed away from them. I had nothing to do with their ass. The TV shows back in the day when you were a kid, if you watched the special, the special episodes, I remember when Saved by the Bell had one, they offered Kelly some pot, I think a boy she liked, and the episode basically showed kids how to deal with drugs and how to just say no. But now, guess what? 20 years later, what do we have? We have movies like Pineapple Express, like Knocked Up, and others movies. Of course, you had them back in the day with Cheech and Chong with the marijuana films, but it was nothing glorified now. Now marijuana is accepted. Weed's accepted. You do this. You smoke this. Smoke a little joint if you want to. Some stuff you stay away from. And I believe the young lady, and I don't know much about Gangsta Boo and her situation, but per reading the report, they're saying that she had a drug overdose. According to TMZ, they stated sources connected to Gangsta Boo say the rapper's death appears to be drug related. We're told Gangsta was with her brother last night. That was December 31st in concert in Memphis, and that her siblings started to overdose sometime in the night, requiring hospitalization. While he ended up okay, our sources tell us that people familiar with Gangsta Boo's death scene insist narcotics were found on her person and that a fentanyl-laced substance is believed to be at play. We're told the police are launching an official investigation. So let me stop. So we may not know. It may not have been a situation where she could have been on drugs. If it was fentanyl or anything like that, if that gets on your skin, that can cause you to have some type of condition. Obviously, it can kill you. If there's a lethal amount on something, people coming in contact with it, touching it in any way, shape, or form, that can cause you to go into cardiac arrest. So I'm sorry to hear. Basically, we're dealing with the passing of and the illnesses that we are seeing take place, but this is also a part of life. But I should be a lesson to everyone to live life to the fullest. Uh, do not let, if you want to buy a car, you want to go on vacation, go out to Dubai, or you want to go to New York, go ahead and do that. Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah, up there in Memphis. Yeah, brother Ron heard. Yeah, 3-6 Mafia. Memphis is where that hustle and flow was shot, right? With Terrence Howard, man. What's going on? I was hustling flow. I'm a hustle. I'm the hustle and flow pimp, man. Sleepy Black threw my CD in the fucking urinal, man. Yeah, but I remember 3-6 Mafia won an Oscar for their soundtrack. It's hard out here for a pimp. Yeah. Speaking of music, I gotta mention this. Now, I don't really care for. I don't care how people will always. People have their opinions on who they think the greatest is of all time in sports and whether it's sports, whether it's in music, or actors, or entertainment, and everything like that. And of course, the mainstream will have their pick of who they believe are the greatest singers. Well, Rolling Stone, and I have not been a fan of Rolling Stone magazine. Uh, they actually had. I want to point this out. They had released the 200 greatest singers of all time, and of course, like always, when they release something like this, they have caught flack for posting stuff like this because in the 200 greatest singers, now I'm just going to tell you, they actually had Michael Jackson ranked 86th. They had Bob Dylan over Luther Vandross. They didn't even have, and I'm going to say this, people will talk about this earlier, they didn't have Celine Dion on the list as well. Now, they always update these lists and so forth. I believe number one was, if I'm not mistaken, number one was Aretha Franklin. But you put Michael Jackson as 86, that vocal range that Michael had, even as a little boy, he could outsing the adult singers of today, all of them, even as a kid. Regardless, put aside the dancing, put aside the music videos he did, his singing was impeccable. No one had ever seen that. Smokey Robinson even said he called Michael a little old midget. He had an old soul. He called him an old. He sang a song that he had written years previously to him being signed to Town, When I Had You, or not When I Had You, Who's Loving You, and turned it into something. Out sang the hell out of it to the point where when Smokey Robinson would be singing the songs, people would come up saying, "You singing Michael Jackson's song." I don't get caught up. That's why I love to have. Yeah, they left off Nat King Cole. Oh, if they left off Nat King Cole, yeah, they are terrible. That's why I don't get caught up in this stuff. But they got Michael Jackson 86. They got Diana Ross 87. Now, I'll be honest with you. I didn't consider Diana a great singer per se. But if we're talking about singers, here's the thing, black people. This is how we combat this. We make up our own list of who we think the greatest singers are. This is where Ebony Magazine would come in place because we know Rolling Stone has a racist history, in particular, how they treat blacks. This is the same Rolling Stone that had Harry Styles, the new king of pop. Half the people on here I ain't even freaking heard. You got SZA on here. They got SZA on here. Who the hell is Rosalia? 200. Glenn Danzig, Billy Ellis. You think this list alone, they could not outsing. They got Brandy 193. They could not outsing Frank Ocean. His singing sound like spaded cats. I don't get caught up in. They got Alicia Keys at 185. Solomon Burke. Now Solomon Burke was, and I've played a lot of his songs, but he was a pioneer of soul music. Solomon Burke in the 60s and late 50s. Solomon Burke, Sam Cooke, James Brown. Solomon Burke is unsung. But James Brown, Sam Cooke, Ray Charles. I remember they had Ray Charles, Rolling Stone at one point had Ray Charles, I believe, #1 as one of the greatest singers of all time. And I could actually see that. Ray Charles could sing. He didn't just play piano, he could sing. Oh, God. Oh, we got to have him on the list. He's black and gay. Oh, yeah. But this is why I don't get caught up with this stuff. Now, Michael Jackson sold more albums, more records than any other artist ever. Yes, you can say rivaled by Elvis Presley, but we know who the real king is. Elvis was the king of copycats. I saw El DeBarge was on here. They got Donny Hathaway at 126. Donna Summer, Jackie Wilson. Erica Badu. Yeah, man. This list was bullshit. Gladys Knight 101. Oh. They got Beyonce top 10. This is my first time looking at it. This fanboy shit, this is not real these are not real musicians. These contributors, maybe some of them are, but I think this is fanboy stuff. Now, Aretha Franklin, I could see her being #1. But they got Lady Gaga, they got George Michael, and yeah, George Michael could sing. Barry White is 56. Tina Turner is 55. Willie Nelson's 54. So they got Willie Nelson sing a better singer than Tina. Are we looking at, when you say singer, are we looking at singing? Or are we looking at fan worship? Hero worship? Are we looking at crafting songs? If it's not about crafting songs, then I don't put Willie up above them. So you got Tony Braxton, 48. Mavis Staples is above Linda Ronstadt, Ella Fitzgerald. James Brown, 44. Ariana Grande, this is it. Oh, God. Ariana Grande above James Brown and Ella Fitzgerald? No. James. Aaliyah, even Aaliyah over Etta James. Oh God. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. They got Luther has 31. Hank Williams, Shaka Khan, Mahalia Jackson. They got Dolly Parton above Mahalia. Paul McCartney, Mary J. Blige, George Jones. So they got Smokey as 23. They got Adele above. Oh God, no. I'm just skimming through. Bob Dylan above Luther and Prince. Al Green. Okay, I can see that. Otis Redding. But yeah, Beyonce should not be number 8. I can see Stevie. Yeah, Ray is back. Ray is top 5 to me. Billie Holiday. I can see that. So Sam Cooke. So they got Whitney at number 2. This was pathetic. Don't disagree with number 1 or 2. I can see that. But y'all got Bob Dylan above Luther. Man. Stevie. Okay, I can see it. But Beyonce should not be here. James Brown should be a top 10. David Ruffin. They got David Ruffin, I think, 66. Marvin could be move up closer. But nobody had a voice like David. Aretha had to, so who would be Aretha for me is I could see her being number 1. This Rolling Stone list, I want to wipe my ass with. I could see Whitney being there. Mariah, not number 5. Beyonce, I couldn't put up here. Al Green, okay. I don't. Al Green is a hell of a vocalist. Would I put him above Little Richard? Oh, Little Richard was something else. But they got Prince above Elvis, but Bob Dylan above Prince. Frank's Old Blue Eyes ain't even in the top 10. They got Adele above Smokey. But Mahalia Jackson, yeah, this Hank Williams above Luther. What are y'all singing? What are y'all interested in? All the children conceived to his music. All the children conceived to Barry White. Barry White was what, 56? Oh man. No, babe. This I'm about to go in a second, but it's good to talk. It's good to come on here and some positive news and talk, but oh baby, keep on doing it. Boom, ding, 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 ding. Right on doing it. Keep on. Yeah, I'll do. Ding, 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 ding. Whenever and ever, yeah. I'll see you through. That's for you right now. If no more, cause I found what the world's been searching for. Mine right here. I don't have to look no more. And all my days, I hope and I pray for someone just like you, making me feel the way you do. Never gonna give you up, I don't stop me. Not the way I feel about you, girl. I just can't live without you. Come on, y'all. I ain't never ever gonna quit, cause quitting just ain't my stick. All right, yo, I want to get out of here. But prayers up to brother Damar Hamlin, uh, Uche Nwaneri, and others that we've lost. Gangsta Boo, her family. You know who else passed away? I hate to say this, but from Earth, Wind, and Fire, the drummer for Earth, Wind, and Fire, who died, the brother of Maurice and Verdine White, he passed away. Brother Fred White. Apparently, they don't say what the cause of death was per se, but they stated that Mr. White died on New Year's Day. His death was announced by his family on New Year's Day. Mr. White was 67 years old. Fred White was obviously part early on of that Earth, Wind, and Fire from their days, drumming on songs such Let's Groove Tonight, Shining Star, Boogie Wonderland, September, just all of the hits. I take it even after the love is gone. For a while, to love was all we could do. When we were mine with you. Oh, wow. He is a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with his brothers Maurice White and Verdine, as the other members were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2000. So he started to play drums for Earth, Wind, and Fire, started on their 1969 album, Mama's Baby Ain't a. Started in 1969. He also did it under Donny Hathaway. He drummed for Linda Ronstadt, Denise Williams, This Is Niecy, a bunch of other people, The Emotions, Jennifer Holliday. So just a historic record that this band had. So I'm a big Earth and Wind and Fire fan. You know, that runs in my family. Music runs in our family. But they got some footage. My brother, shout out to Dwan B. He actually had some footage of brother Fred White playing drums. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let's see if I got it. Okay, here it is right here. Yeah, Philip Bailey wasn't on that list. Dwan pointed this out. Yeah, I saw that. It was pathetic. I want to play. Here's okay. So here it is. Oh yeah, here it is. Right here. Yeah, this brother was good. Yeah, he was a protege on drums. Exactly. Yeah, Anita Pointer also died. So this was the list. No, yeah, we saw the list. It was bullshit, and a lot of people have called out Rolling Stone, rightfully so. But Rolling Stone has a history of shading black artists. So uh, let me. Yeah, they didn't even have Celine Dion on there, and people criticized that. A lot of people are upset about that. But Pleasure P on TMZ, he even called out Rolling Stone because Anita Baker wasn't on the list. He made the case for both Anita and for Celine Dion. And yeah, Anita can sing. She's still singing to this day. We can't have a bounce song without Anita without Anita Baker. Here come young Jesus. Rolling Stone left the flop in the healing. I think he was doing ICD. I thought he was always doing the ICDC college voiceovers. Be a success. Be like Master P would say, you want to be a success. That's why Romeo was mad. He didn't get his degree from there. Blamed his dad. Y'all remember them BET commercials? Master P would come on with Lil Romeo. If he want to be a success, go get your degree from ICDC. That's where ICDC college was. So they say it's defunct now. And it was only open for not even about 11 years. So messed up. All right. Let me get out of here, y'all. Akon ain't on the list because I gotta take a piss. You know I'm a survivor. That's right, I'm a rider. Dick rider. Akon. I got Akon's voice down, y'all. That's another impression for you. You know, I just want to say right here, Charles Barkley, I listen to Akon all the time because personally, I think Black America is a knucklehead. All Black America, I look at them like I used to say one big Negro, all Black America, one big knucklehead. It's a knucklehead, Ernie. What else can I do? I wasn't on the show today with Skip. I don't want to make fun of the young brother that was. I'm not trying to make fun of the brother that was injured, brother Harlan, but Damar. But I was not gonna be on that show. You disrespected my. Cause Skip, I got to say this right now, Skip. You the lowest of the low. You the worst of the worst, Skip. I didn't even want to be around Skip. Because personally, I was gonna put. I was gonna squeeze the living out of you. I was gonna stretch you like stretch Armstrong, Skip, till you gave up that restitution. When I take a critical examination of your Rolling Stone magazine's list, I must say that I think it is enough to wipe my behind on because when I'm looking at this list, they list mediocre singers like your Bob Dylan and even your Beyonce Knowles Carter, I suppose, since she is married to your Jay Carter, Sean Carter, Jay-Z, and have her at number 8. And when I take critical examination closer of that number 8, I can only think of the top vocalist of the time, in particular from the 1960s, which was about 10 years before I was born. And when they had the singers like your Sam Cooke and your James Brown and Otis Reddings, and some other singers I can't even think of at the moment that escapes me now, I would imagine that they would have to be much higher on this list. This list is not enough I would not even put this list on the floor for my dog to defecate on because then it would be an insult to my dog. But frankly, I would wipe my behind with it, then throw it into raw sewage and personally set it on fire. Now, if you want to take a more critical examination of this list and of any other books that I have and might like this video, please like, share, subscribe along with giving to the Patreon. That's all I have to say for this video. You can purchase my books on Amazon. Want to support Gavin, go to the Patreon, or you can also go advertise with our channel by clicking the link gavin.jerusalem@gmail.com. Go to Narnies and get you some Creole seasoning. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Subscribe to at Commonwealth Cos, the Facebook page for more on the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby. You may also get the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on Amazon Kindle, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what else you would like to do, you can, of course, donate to the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle if you would like to support this channel as it is not monetized. Thank you, Cheryl Macy, for your contribution. I will take a more critical examination of it later. That's all I have to say for this video, ladies and gentlemen. We love you. We'll see you on Thursday more with your Sean James, and we shall discuss this much ado about nothing list that is so insignificant that even Judge Joe Brown would call it an insignificant punk that was written by a group of sisters who don't have a damn clue about singing. Frida Payne should have been on here. Frida and I used to date. I had her before Gregory Abbott. Y'all know that. Bring the boys home. She was talking about Judge Joe Brown. She wanted my boys. My soldiers were gonna march up in there. My soldiers were gonna march up all up in there. Bring the boys home, bring them back around. Oh, she was talking about me. She's only met one boy. Good night, Chesterfield. Pam, Skip Bayless. Get a life. I'm no good. All right, y'all. Good night. Of course, check out Video Soul and gotta get on up on iTunes and Amazon. Good night, family. You 65 little punks.